But going on to this matchup talk, this Golden State Warriors Oklahoma City Thunder game, where everybody was talking about this is probably one of the best matchups for the Warriors. And watching the game, and you're looking at it, you're like, oh man, the Thunder might have their number. And then it comes down to Iguodala hitting 2 free throws to take the game to overtime. He's like a 76% free throw shooter,
but he has ice water in his veins.
So knocking down 2 free throws, taking the game to overtime. Then you have Steph Curry, who scores 12 points in overtime, hits a 30-footer for the game winning.
And what was it? 6 of a second?
What, 0.6 seconds
0.6
left.
seconds left, yeah. The best part about that was if you looked at the Thunder's bench, they weren't even surprised. Ennis Cantor was standing there like, "Are you gonna guard him?"
Like,
as soon as he crossed half court, Ennis Cantor was like, "Are you gonna guard him?"
Klay Thompson was like, "Man, I'm not even surprised anymore. Like none of this surprises me."
I mean, Kerr didn't even call the timeout because he knew. He
knew.
He's like, I mean, I got the best shooter in history on the court. What I need to call timeout for? Honestly, they were smart. I just would have fouled Andre Iguodala again. That's all. I would have put somebody in the game like, look, tackle.
But see, the score was tied though, so you couldn't really foul because then.
Here's the thing: you tackle Andre Iguodala, he makes one, misses one,
and you get the last possession.
You get the last possession, and you can put it in the hands of KD or Russ.
Okay, so here's some of the stat lines. Steph Curry had 46, 12 for 16 for 3-pointers. He broke his own NBA record with 24 games to go for 3 points made. He this past week he also broke Kyle Korver's old record of 127 straight games, 128 straight games. Hitting the 3 in the game. He broke that record this week. Right now it's at 129 straight games. Klay Thompson scored 32 in this game. Durant scored 37, but he fouled out in overtime in the first minute of overtime. Draymond Green was non-existent other than his 14 assists, 14 rebound games.
Yeah, but that's still a double-double.
It's still a double-double. He could easily have a triple-double. Non-existent. So, looking at these players, like, looking at this game, what was the mistake Oklahoma City made, starting with Rudy? Like, what do you see was wrong with this game?
The mistake was letting Steph Curry lace up his sneakers before the game. That's the problem. There was any other team. Oklahoma City plays any other team the way they played Oklahoma City, they win. Literally, they play pretty much any other team in the league the way they played against Oklahoma City, and they win. This is a matchup where 2 of the best 3 players on the court are on the other team for Golden State, and Steph Curry just decided he wanted to turn on hero mode in the fourth quarter so he could just win this game, and he was just so nonchalant about it. It was just like, oh, let me just hit this 3. Then he hurt the ankle, came back on the hurt ankle looking like a young Isaiah Thomas, and started drilling more threes. Exactly. So I don't want to say there was a mistake made. I mean, the one mistake I would say is towards the end they started playing that sort of weird let's hold the ball and take all outside shots offense, and they went like 0 for 6 in that span. So if anything, I want to say they stopped attacking, which is I would never thought I would say that and Russell Westbrook in the same sentence. Right. But yeah, they stopped attacking towards the end of that game. So maybe next time they play, they should remember when you have a team like Golden State, you don't take your foot off the pedal. When your foot is on their throat, they can like reverse it and then put a knife to yours because they can come back. It's the same thing last year when the Pelicans had them in the playoffs, up by 20-something. Everyone's talking about the game being done. And now we have the footage of Steph Curry hitting that 3 in the corner and getting destroyed by Anthony Davis. And then winning and winning the game. So that's a team that you just can't let off the gas pedal. If you want to call it running up the score, that's what you got to do.
You got to call it.
We bring up a good point, that outside shooting that the OKC does. Late game, you can't be doing that. You got to give Russell Wilson the ball, make him attack the basket, because he can get through or he can draw a foul. So either way, he's going to score a point or get some points off that attack. Y'all can't rely on the perimeter shooting at late game times for most of your points. I mean, Kevin Durant's a great perimeter scorer, but at times like that, you need quick points. You need points that are definitely guaranteed that will not leave the ball in the hands of Golden State, and that's where the problem lies. Like when Golden State gets the ball in those last couple seconds, and Steph Curry knows he's gonna make a shot, there's no need for him to call no timeout because he just know he's gonna make it.
12 for 16 for 3-pointers, man. You hit.
He basically pulled up from the Thunder.
My man got his ankle hurt came back into the game and scored 31.
Like that's incredible. Like who can really stop this man, Steph Curry? Like I don't. It's not been done. I saw on Twitter. It was like a tweet. It said, "Dear NBA, this is the only way to block Steph Curry." And someone had blocked him on Twitter. So it said Steph Curry's been blocked. That's the only way you can stop that man.
I mean, if you take your whole starting five and you put them in a circle around him, maybe
He's still going to hit He's still going to hit the three.
Yeah, he might say.
He's like, circle, I gave me too much space. I mean, he shot 12 or 16 for three. And it's not like the first time he's done something like this. He's done it again when he had the 51 point game.
Yeah, against Washington.
So you just like,
and that was against John Wall.
Yeah, and you're looking at like that's which is actually a pretty good defender.
Great defender, actually.
So you're just like, what's it going to take to stop Steph Curry? Ever since the All-Star break, he's averaging like 35 points per game. Every game, like it's they have one loss. They have the one loss to the Blazers, where Damian Lillard scored 51, but also Steph Curry scored 31, and that was his lowest score I think since the All-Star break. So you're looking at it like, what's it going to take to slow this guy down? Klay Thompson's playing better. Klay Thompson's averaging about 27 over these since All-Star break. You're looking at like, what's it going to take to stop them? Durant had 37 points. If he fouled out, would it have been a different story? I mean, Steph Curry was on a tear. Steph Curry was on a tear, though.
Possibly, but you are talking about Kevin Durant going out in the very first minute of overtime and then losing on a game-winning shot. There's a possibility of Kevin Durant's in that game. They're up in that situation. So it could have made a difference, but I'm not going to live in the world of if ands, or buts. What happened was Steph Curry drained a shot from basically half court in this man Robeson's face because he decided he wanted to give him 1 foot of space. He literally gave him like 1 step worth of space, and he pulled up from like essentially the Thunder logo.
Who are you telling? Like like the half court circle, you have the circle around where people. He was just past that.
Yeah, and he just decided, well, this is good enough.
Like I don't have time. You have 3 seconds. You have 3 seconds on the clock. I don't got time. So we see this game. We see Oklahoma City, Golden State come down to a close game again, but they lose. So can we still say this is the best matchup for the Warriors?
I mean, or is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like they still may be because as we've seen, the game was very close. They did go into overtime and it did end on a game-winning shot with Kevin Durant out in overtime. So I do think they're a great matchup. I just feel like they need more. They need help in other places. You see the way the Golden State Warriors team is set up with Andre Iguodala, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson being the main. Like all of them scoring at least 15 or some points. Minus Draymond Green this game, well, a couple games, but they've all been efficient scorers for the whole season, and they've been putting up the points that they need for the team to get like 120 points. Okay. So I think that OKC needs somebody that can take the weight off of Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. Like you said, late game, they just started throwing up those perimeter shots. Like Russell Westbrook, he wasn't attacking the basket. Maybe he felt like that. Maybe he got a little exhausted because he felt like he kept attacking the basket so much that he needed a break. So he had to shoot from the perimeter. But if there was more people, there was more viable shooters or somebody that can take the load off of the scoring from Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, I feel like the team will go so much further and maybe have a chance to beat the Golden State Warriors in like a 7-game series.
This is a trick question. There is no chance of beating the Golden State Warriors in a 7-game series. But let me just try my NBA 2K math to try and beat these guys. The only 2 teams that really have any shot of even winning a game or 2 against Golden State are the Spurs and the Thunder. That being because, like we said earlier, the Thunder would have 2 of the best 3 players on the court. The Spurs are just they're the Spurs. You always have to give them the respect. They're literally the Patriots of the NBA. So the only thing, like Khalid said, they need somebody else that could be on that perimeter and help them shoot. Losing Joe Johnson to the Miami Heat was huge. Because had they been able to get Joe Johnson, that could have helped. Joe Johnson's a veteran in this league. We all know he can shoot. Joe Johnson is still able to take over games if he wants to. The only chance they have now, I think Kevin Martin is being bought out by the Timberwolves. They could get him maybe coming off the bench to try and hit some threes and add some scoring. But as their team is constructed right now, this is the best chance you have of winning a couple games against Golden State. The key for any team playing against Golden State is you're gonna have to beat them at Golden State, and it hasn't been done, has it? Aren't they like 25-0 or whatnot?
Is it?
Last time I checked, they haven't lost at home.
I think they.
And that's the thing. If you want to beat Golden State, you're gonna have to beat them at home. If Oklahoma City could beat them at home and then make a homestand for themselves, that's the only way. But I don't see it happening. I don't. I'm not even gonna bring the Clippers in this discussion because come on.
See, I agree with Brendan here. Brendan, I'm finally agreeing with you. You're right. Every time the Clippers and the Warriors play, it's always a close game.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a close game. But just like all these other teams, they can't finish the game. So why can we sit here and say the Clippers aren't a good matchup? Because every time they come down, it's down to the wire as well. But the Thunder can and the Spurs can.
You know why we can say that about the Clippers? Because the Clippers have a history of letting you down. The Clippers have a history. The Clippers have a history of showing you how great they can be, and then they're going to get into the playoffs. They might get to the second round. I say might because they're going to have a tough matchup in the first round. What are they, like 4th, 5th seed?
Yeah,
they're going to have to play Dallas, or the Trailblazers, or I'm going to say Memphis for now because they're a placeholder.
Mm-hmm.
But
they're a placeholder 5th right now.
Yeah, they're a placeholder right now, but. If they make it to the second round, they're going to be playing a heavy hitter. They're going to be playing a way better Spurs team than they played last year. They're going to be playing a Thunder team that they didn't even get a chance to play last year, or they're going to be playing the Warriors. So there's no easy road for the Clippers.
There's not, but I still feel like that's the team that makes it close, though. Every time they play, it's never a blowout.
I'm still going to lean closer to the Thunder as being a team that could beat Golden State over the Clippers, just because the Clippers – I don't know what it is. I literally look at the Clippers and their team that they're always missing something, but you can't put your finger on exactly what they're missing. And then they're going to have to take DeAndre Jordan out of game. So there goes your shot blocking ability, because although Blake Griffin does play good defense, he's not going to be able to play the same amount of defense, because if he fouls out, you're done.
But, I mean, technically, when you see the Warriors play, even their layups go quick.
Exactly.
Their backdoor cut. So technically, blocking the shot isn't something that happens against them often.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, even in your mind, if you're Blake Griffin, though, if I go to block this guy's shot and I foul him and I foul out of this game, if Blake Griffin fouls out in the game against the Golden State Warriors, do you really think the Clippers are going to win?
I mean, if you look at the last game they played without Blake Griffin. And I mean, granted, usage rate of Chris Paul was way up.
Yeah,
but the game was still close. The game came down to the 4th quarter. So I mean.
Oh, so are we saying trade Blake Griffin?
No, I'm not saying trade Blake Griffin. I'm saying if he falls out, they still have a chance to win, because the way the team's been accustomed to playing without him anyway already, they can just make that adjustment.
Well, yeah.
But I mean,
Chris Paul.
Yeah, it's
and you know what they're gonna do? They're just gonna be like, okay, well, since Blake Griffin's out of this game, Draymond, go ahead and get on Chris Paul. And now you're going to have to rely on the rest of that band of players to win them a game against the Warriors. You trust J.J. Redick and Austin Rivers and DeAndre Jordan to beat Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Andre Iguodala and Harrison Barnes and Sean Livingston. And I'm naming people because they're all relevant on this team.
They are. But they almost do it every time. They just can never finish the game off. All these
almost only counts in horseshoes.
Match up with them with that small ball, but the Warriors just got to meet with it.
But like we always say, almost and close only count for hand grenades and horseshoes.
Yeah, you're right. So